Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you feel led to. Let's just get right into the video. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what is God teaching you right now in this season. And for me, I want to say that God is teaching me just basically how to choose myself, how to love myself. Um, yeah, just basically how to put myself first. Um, I can honestly say that I have never done what's best for me. I always um I always did what was best for everybody else, did what everybody else wanted me to do, things like that. But I never really did what was best for me. And that's why I feel like right now God got me in this season of being still and isolated because I pour too much. I give so much of myself to so many people. And let me tell you, as I've been building my relationship with God, as I've been fasting, as I've been praying, doing Bible study on Wednesday, and even Bible study on Thursday. Look, let me tell y'all, it has been uh, so many people I have learned that have benefited from me being of this world. They have benefited from me being broken, not knowing who I am in Christ, not loving myself, not taking care of myself, not putting myself first. I learned that it's so many people that was reaping the benefits of me just being broken, being stuck, unaware of what's really going on around me. And if like the minute you start setting boundaries, you start putting yourself first, you're gonna see who really was genuine, who really wasn't. That's all. I don't know. That's the best way I could put it. It's a lot of people that's gonna be mad because you're not moving the way they thought you should move. You're not doing the things that they thought you should do it, how they wanted you to do it. Things like that. And all I'm gonna say is, you keep doing what you're doing. You do what's best for you because guess what? It's nobody else that's gonna take care of you the way you're gonna take care of you. It's nobody else that's gonna take care of your children the way you're gonna take care of your children. If you don't take care of you, who's gonna take care of your children? Okay? Because nobody gonna love your children the way you love them. Nobody gonna pour into you the way you pour into you. The only person that's gonna be pouring into you the way you should be pouring into you is God. And I learned too that a lot of time God is trying to change us. He's trying to heal us. He's trying to deliver us from things, heal us from our past trauma, fears, anxiety, and all these things that we have going on. As we're going to Him, God is emptying it out. But a lot of time we don't let God finish or do the work He needs to do in us because guess what? Just the little bit that God is doing for us already. As soon as He start to do it, we feel like that's just enough. Then we want to be rescue 911 and go help everybody else out. Let God do the work that He need to do in you first. And as you start choosing yourself, people are going to be mad, but you don't let that tear you down. You don't let that bring you down because understand, when you start doing what's best for yourself, people going to start getting frustrated. It's something about you doing what's best for you that's going to irritate the demons in other people. It's going to start to identify who really is for you. And I'm telling you, in this season, I have been learning that sometimes you have to love people from a distance. Hey, how you doing? To keep it pushing. Sometimes you don't even need to hold a conversation with certain people, especially if it's not bringing you towards God. And a lot of times, the people that the devil be using other people to attack you that don't even know God the way you know God, that ain't even praying and fasting the way you doing. You know, um, if people going to start coming out the woodworks and just out of nowhere, just saying, holding on to stuff that you probably done to them or said to them. Even a conversation, and it ain't even have to be a bad conversation. Y'all could have been just talking, and then boom, next thing you know, somebody call you out the blue, talking some. Oh, I just want to let you know that you said something that hurt my feelings. That happened 4 5 months ago. That's a distraction. That's an attack. Don't walk around with that guilt. You do what you have to do. You do what's best for you. And look, I tell people all the time, I don't really let how other people feel about me, uh, affect how I feel about myself. How they feel about me, that got something to do with them. That's personal. That ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as I wake up and I like myself, everybody else like is extra. I'm gonna keep doing what God told me to do. Because guess what? Those people that are trying to tear you down, that don't have their life together, baby, they don't have a hell or a heaven to put you in. Okay? Most of the time these people be having other stuff they have going on with themselves, and they just not living the life that they thought they should live. They feeling stuck and stagnant. And understand this, people could see the light that God have blessed you with inside of you before you even do. I got a little bit. Okay, so I got in my notes, because y'all know I love taking notes. I got in my notes right here. It says, oftentimes it is always at the beginning and at the root of where the enemy wants to attack. And I'm just getting started with this YouTube stuff. I'm just getting started, y'all, with like really being consistent. Because like I said, I started seeking after God in 2020 and 2021 when I had my baby. But it wasn't until this year something just instantly changed. I'm talking about with a snap of the fingers. Like I started seeing myself, I started feeling the urge to just seek God more. Y'all, like I didn't did a Esther fast like 4 times. Yeah, 4 times now. And it become easier every time I do it. Like a lot of things that I found myself struggling with, I'm no longer struggling with because I cried out to God. In the areas that I found myself being weak in, needing help in, that extra push, I asked God to give me strength in those areas that I'm weak in. A lot of us, we're struggling because we're not aware. And when you're not aware, you're gonna bring a how they say it, like um you're gonna bring the wrong tools and resources and weapons you need to the wrong fight. Because understand that this is a fight. We're fighting Satan and his minions. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but the high powers of darkness every day. But you have to understand the only way how you can be able to stand in this battle is if you putting on the right equipment. Okay? And some things can only be broken by prayer and fasting. Some of us were getting too lazy as Christians. We don't want to pray. We barely want to pray. Don't get me wrong. I love when people call me and come to me and ask me for advice and stuff like that. But understand this. I recommend that if you call me and come ask me for some advice, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is, have you prayed? Have you given it to God? Because a lot of y'all go seek advice and answers from everybody else but the God of the universe. Okay? Go to God first. And then you call your support system. Then you get on the prayer line. Then you call somebody that's going to encourage you and give you the words that you need. But go to God first. And also read your Bible. Everything that we're going through in this life is in this word. We don't want to open it up. We don't want to read it. We 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 prioritize everything. We do everything else but go to God, but run to God. And how many of us are running towards God when we're going through things? Understand this, that sometimes oftentimes we have guilt when we made bad decisions, but nobody talk about having guilt when we're making the right decisions too. When I'm telling you, I started moving in guilt when I started doing what was best for me. And I was just telling my brother yesterday, I was just like, um, I learned, bro, in this season of me being still, I'm like, bro, I learned that I have never been able to put myself first. When I say I have done so much to uplift and point to everybody else, when the times when I need to point to myself, I don't have the energy because I didn't gave everybody else everything that I have had. And guess what? Then I found myself having to go to God and ask Him to refresh me, to give me bless me with a new burst of energy. because I done gave everything I had to other people instead of using the things that God has given me for myself. Now I'm not saying being selfish, but you have to understand the season of it's a time and a place for everything. So it's gonna be a season when God call you to bless others. But it's also gonna be a season where God allows you to focus on yourself. We have to start setting boundaries because if not, we will run ourselves regularly trying to help everybody else. I found myself, y'all, making so many, making other people problems my problems. And also, I have a problem with trying to help everybody else out. I don't know how to tell people no. I have a hard time with telling people no because I start thinking like, dang, I remember when I was in this place where I didn't have nobody. I couldn't call on nobody. When I didn't have a car, when I didn't have my own money. So I remember having to borrow $5 and $10 from somebody. I remember not having I remember when I was growing up and I was living with my parents, we didn't have no lights, no water. You know what I'm saying? So I found myself feeling guilty. But I can't the reality is I can't help everybody. But one thing I could do is pray for them and intercede for them. That's one of the greatest things that you could ever do for somebody is pray for them because God answers prayers. And a lot of time we be trying to do God's job when we don't have the capacity to do God's job. Like I said, we're gonna run ourselves regularly trying to do God's job and understand when God see us trying to do his job, he gonna step away. Understand that sometimes we look for the instead of looking for the lesson in it, we look for the pain in things. And as long as we focus on the pain, it won't help us grow. Do not move and stop moving in guilt. Stop moving in fear. Stop being lazy. Stop procrastinating. Get into your word. Continue to be consistent. If you find yourself drifting off away from God, get right back into that word once you start to become aware that you start slacking. Because a lot of times we slack and we just get comfortable with it. And we just say, oh, well, it is what it is. God will forgive me whenever I do decide to get back into my word. No, identify what's going on, become more aware of what's going on, and then start to understand and then start to identify what tools and resources you will need to get you back on that routine again, to get you back on schedule. And understand you might have made a mistake, but you are human. And give yourself grace. I tell y'all all the time, give yourself grace. Stop being so hard on yourself. And it's not going to be easy because a lot of times we be so hard on ourselves because we have to mirror our bad decisions. And that's why we walk in so much guilt. Because a lot of times we beat ourselves up because we have seen the red flags and we still have given people the benefit of the doubt and trying to make it work. All this got something to do with us choosing ourselves. Don't worry about it. Everything gonna be okay. Just keep on going. The problem is when you decide to sit in your mess, when you decide to sit in the darkness. We have to be okay with letting go. We have to be okay with choosing ourselves sometimes because if, like I said, if we don't choose ourselves, who is? Because ain't nobody else gonna make that decision for us. Can't nobody else live our life for us. And also we have to stop caring about what what happened when we decide to do what's best for ourselves. A lot of times we don't want to leave these toxic relationships because we're worried about what's gonna happen after we walk away, if the guy gonna be that Prince Charming to the next person. Understand this, that if you had to walk away, it's probably was some disrespect you had to put up with, um just all type of stuff. You had to devalue yourself, uh compromise your self-esteem, your confidence, and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes we want to make things work with these relationships and these guys that haven't treated us right. But understand, if they haven't treated you right, why would you want to go back to it in the first place? And even if they did treat the next person right, why does it matter to you when they haven't even treated you right? That's what I found myself dealing with too at one point in time. I couldn't walk away from this person because I was worried about letting him go. In my head, the thought was, if I let him go, what if he give that same love, or the same person I have helped build him into the man I have helped make him? And it's not me, but the things that I was helping him grow in, the areas that I was helping him grow in, the Lord was using me to help him grow in. I was like, what if he give it to somebody else? It is what it is. We can't change what people do, who people decide to change for, and who people decide to treat right. Understand that it's a God has made a person for everybody. Because in His word, He said that it is not good for men to be alone. So I would make him a helpmate. I would send him a helpmate. Okay, now we have to get into this word. Um, yeah, I just the attacks been coming because I have decided to choose myself. I have decided to walk away from certain things that will bring me back into a place that I'm no longer in. Um, and I found myself in. I'm gonna say in this season, the enemy also talk about what the enemy has been trying to do too. So in this season, I have been able to identify that the enemy wants me to go back to what I used to put up with, to the people that I used to hang around, to the person that I used to be. So that's why all of these people are coming out of nowhere now, trying to remind me of who I used to be, trying to tell me that I'm not a good person, that I'm a hypocrite. But these same people that are talking about me, ain't nobody seeking God the way I'm seeking God. And then they throwing up in my face, oh, I thought you were supposed to be a Christian, because they feel like when you're a Christian, you're supposed to just let people mistreat you and handle you any kind of way. No, I'm not going to let you handle me any kind of way. And understand that I'm seeking after a heart like Jesus Christ, but I'm not Jesus Christ. So I sin every day. But understand that when you give your life to God, you're going to want to sin less. God is not saying you're going to live a sinful life, that you're going to, once you give your life to Him, you're not going to sin again. But it's going to make you want to sin less, because the love you have for God, because of the things that He do for us, because He intentional, because He is a way maker, that He a healer, that He restores, that He can redeem, that He can bring dead situations back to life, that He can raise the dead. God has never been in the business of using perfect people. So when you talk about my past, baby, hey, talk about me. It is what it is. But I know how far God has brought me. A lot of times when the enemy is attacking us, we think that we have to sit and take what the enemy is dishing out. Use the authority that God has given you. Start speaking to that enemy like, no, sir, I know who I am. That I know that God God qualified the people that God called. He will qualify you. He will give you the resources, the tools you need, the confidence that you need. When God, I'm telling, let me read this right quick, y'all. In Exodus chapter 3, verse verse 12. Okay, I'm gonna just read verse 11. It says, But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? He said, but I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said to God, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers have sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. Okay? And he said, say this to the people of Israel. I am has sent me to you. Okay? So understand that when God qualifies you, he is with you. That's what he told Moses. I will be with you. And that's all the sign you need. And when God qualify you, understand that there's nobody that can overpower God's yes. That can overturn his no. Okay? When God said it, it is what it is. And when he called you, it is what it is. When God said it, whenever God say something, he put a period behind it. It's no comma. That means the end. The end. Okay? Because we be want to argue with God and we looking at what we don't have, the resources and the tools, the money that we don't have, the car, the house. Don't worry about all that. As long as you being obedient and you doing what God has called you, everything else is gonna flow. Everything else is, as long as you doing the will of God, God will bless you with everything else. But so many times we telling God like, God, I think you should pick somebody else. And when we're responding like that, but what we really need to be doing is rejoicing. Because if God called you, he could have called anybody else. But he called you, which means it's something in you that only you could do, that only God could use you for in this season. That's why I say you have to say yes to God's will, because not only is is what God is doing in your life going to help you out, but it's going to help and save other people. That's why I say Jesus understood that it wasn't just about him, that it was for you, it was for me, and that's why he went through what he went through. So a lot of times when we're going through stuff, we have to endure it because it will help somebody else out when the time comes. But you got to say yes to God will, God's way. When we come without fear, he respond that he will be with you. You might not have the resources, but God does. That's what I just said. Had put this in my notes. When hands is on your life, it doesn't matter if you don't have the qualifications. Understand we are not capable of our own. We understand we are not capable on our own, but when you are walking alongside God, your steps will be anointed and you will have favor over your life. And that doesn't mean we aren't going to face challenges. Okay, that's why I said it doesn't mean that we're going to be exempt from going through anything. If anything, it means that we're going to be going through stuff way worse than those that are living in the world because we decided to do right. We decided to answer to God's calling on our life. The weapon will form, but it will not prosper. Don't think because God is with you, you won't go through some things that you won't go through things sometimes, or that life will be easier. That's the best way to put it. We should have an attitude of thinking less of ourselves and more of others. That's why I said when it came to Jesus Christ, he said, I come to do the will of my Father. He didn't think highly of himself. He thought less of himself and more of others because he understood that it was some souls that need to be saved. It was some people that need to be delivered. It was some people that was walking in darkness, but like he said, that I'm the way, the life, and the truth, that nobody comes through the Father except by me, except through me. That nobody can meet the Father but by me, through me. So you can't say you have a relationship with God but don't know his son Jesus Christ. You can't say you know God and don't know his word. In my notes it say we cannot be We cannot bear fruits as if we have been faithful, but in fact we have been lazy. I told y'all we got to come up out of this laziness as Christians, as Christ's children, as God's children. We have to come about this spirit of being lazy, and understand too. Not everybody gonna like you when you start doing God's work, and that's okay. I had yesterday, when I say y'all, it was so much stuff going on. Somebody tried to tear me down and bring me down and put me in a space that I no longer was in no more. Tried to, and I ain't gonna say it's somebody. I know it was the enemy through that person. They was trying to bring me down, second guess myself, make me go bag myself up into a corner and dig myself into this deeper hole to stop me from doing what I'm doing, which is putting out content, which is doing Bible studies on Thursdays and Wednesdays. And understand this. Uh, God said God said to Moses, I am who I am. Okay, understand, because God cannot be, let's see, I ain't even gonna say that. Understand that God gonna be whoever you need him to be at the whatever season you are in. God could be our father, but he also could be that friend. He can be uh he could be whoever you need. Okay? He is just not defined by one name. Understand that. He can be whoever you need at whatever time you need him. He could be that father, he could be that friend, he could be talking to your pastor. He could be a pastor. I'm telling you. He said, because God cannot be defined by just one name. He is whatever you need in the season you are in. I just said that. Ask the Lord because he will supply all of your needs. Whatever you're going through, ask God. Oftentimes the type of help we need only God can do it, because God has an unlimited source. God will even use your enemies to bless you. That's why I say sometimes when people try to tear me down, they don't understand. They be blessing me. Understand that when God is with you, you have a different type of favor. You have favor on your life that not even money could buy. Okay? And the real question is too, how many of us has been Moses when God have qualified us to do something? We like, God, I think you need to pick somebody else. Like, do you know what I did? Do you know what I've been through? Do you know? And that's why God is like, that's why I'm calling you. Because you could do the job. And even if you don't feel like it, I am with you. When God qualify you, he is more glorified. Who are us? Like, we be letting the enemy rob us out of our destiny. Do not let the enemy rob you out of your destiny. Do not give him that power and authority over you. Since I've given my life to God, it's been more so people that know me, that I have been close to, that has been trying to bring me down, that the devil, that the enemy has been using to try to bring me down. And like I said, I'm doing what's best for me. So if I gotta distance myself away from some family, I would do that. If I have to distance myself away from somebody I thought that I would be friends with forever, I would do that. It don't matter to me anymore because as long as I got God, I don't need nobody else. I'm telling you, because the same people that will talk about you, they ain't helping you pay for nothing. They ain't taking care of you nor your children. Okay? The scripture says, with men it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So that as long as you got God, anything is possible. I had a shift in my mind that if God has called me, who am I to tell God that He made a mistake to call me? And that's what we doing sometimes, telling God like, "Oh, God, I think you made a mistake." God don't make no mistakes. If He called you, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Whatever He telling you to do, do it. Because a lot of times we be moping and whining, telling some we ain't seeing our breakthrough, we not living an abundant life. But what have God told you to do that you haven't done? Because God don't give us the entire plan. He give us bits and pieces of the puzzle. He tell us to do one thing, and if, according to if you do it or not, if you don't do it, you won't find out the next step. But if you do it, that's when you find out the next step. You heard what God told Moses? Go read Exodus chapter 3. Okay? Just go read it. Read the entire thing. The voice of God calls you by His strength, His resources, His love, His authority. The voice of the enemy amplifies your weakness. How do you begin by allowing the voice of God to be louder than the voice of the enemy? And sometimes we letting the voice of the enemy be louder than the voice of God. And that's what get us in that spirit of in that place of mind of feeling guilty, moving in doubt, feeling like we're unworthy, we're not qualified, that God hasn't anointed us, that God isn't with us, and things like that. That's a trick of the enemy right there. Yeah, I be trying not to make my videos so long, but I want to make sure that I get all these notes that I had in my laptop. Me- the last thing I can say is meditate on God's word and who He says that you are. It's gonna be a lot of people that try to bring you down, but let that be the film that you need to keep going. I have struggled with it for so long. I have helped everybody else. I have helped some guys be good fathers to some of their kids, and then when it come to my kids, they ain't nowhere around. But it's okay. It is what it is. Look, I have helped some. I have helped so many people when I was broken. Like I said, and as soon as people got what they wanted out of me, or they felt like they had enough strength and courage to go on their own, they have left me behind. But they don't understand it wasn't me. It was just the God in me, the person, the light that God had given me. You can't use somebody that God has called You can't. You might think you is, but you can't. I'm telling you, I have helped so many fathers be in their other kids' life. I ain't gonna say fathers. I'm gonna say my kids' fathers have other kids, and I have encouraged them to do what they need to do for the other kids. And now that I have encouraged them to be there for the other kids, they are nowhere to be found when it comes to helping me with the kids that we have made together, with the child we made together. It's okay. It is what it is. Look, I'm telling you, God is working everything out for our good. So we still ain't missing out on nothing. But I also have helped people build their relationships back with their mama. And it's not me, it's God using me. I'm just a willing vessel. That's it. But when I say it's so many people that are going to see what they can get out of you and then leave you hanging. Start setting boundaries. I have, it's not me, but God have used me, and it's a good thing. Don't feel sorry. Don't feel sad. God is doing it. He's doing a good thing too. Um, I want to say that yeah, I have poured into people. Uh, the Lord has used me to pour into people, to encourage people, to uplift them up, and the same people that I would help at the time of their need and be there for and support and help them build their confidence and you know and things like that. They are nowhere to be found, or whenever they are going through stuff and things like that. I don't know how to explain it. I hope y'all could put the pieces together for me. But like same people that I will pray for and fast for and send encouraging message to are the same people. Some of the same people that will try to bring me down and tear me down. And I'm just happy that I'm at a point where God has taught me how to love myself. God is teaching me how to set boundaries. So normally what would get to me, I'm normally what the enemy would do to get under my skin, it doesn't bother me anymore. And even if I find myself crying, I will cry out to God and I will go to God. You know what? Before I get off here, that reminded me about something I want to read to you guys right quick, because that's what I was trying to explain it. But it's you always can go into the Word and get it. That's why I say the Word has everything. It is okay. We're gonna go to First Samuel. First Samuel. Okay, it's First Samuel chapter 8, and it says Israel demands a king. When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges over Israel. Okay, so we're gonna go to verse 4. It says, chapter 8, verse 4, First Samuel. It says, then all of the elder of Israel gathered together and came to Samson at Ramah, I don't know if I'm saying it right, and said to him, behold, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your way. Now appoint for us a king to judge us like all the nations. But the things displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, obey the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being the king over them. So understand this, if you're doing God's work, God's will, His way, and the people are coming at you, trying to bring you down and tear you down, they haven't rejected you. They rejected God. And my. That's all I gotta say when it comes to that, because they don't know what they're doing. That's why you have to pray for those people. You have to pray for them because they don't know better. That's why they be coming after y'all and be attacking y'all and want to make it seem like y'all are bad people. Somebody told me yesterday, I ain't gonna say no name, you know, but somebody told me yesterday I was just like my mama, that I wasn't a good person and that I was a hypocrite because I decided to do what's best for me. I decided to put my foot down and no longer stay in this repeated cycle and things like this. I decided to do what's best for me and to take care of my children and to put myself first, to go after everything that I want as long as it's God's will. If God say give me the go, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do what's best for me. And I can help you all I want to, but guess what? If you don't want it for yourself, I mean, it is what it is. What can I do? Okay. So I hope this was able to help somebody out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Um, yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. And look, pray for me as well. Cause I be going through some things. Sometimes I be feeling like giving up. Sometimes I just don't even be in the mood to even be. Sometimes I'm just being honest too. I don't even be in the mood sometimes to be reading my Bible. But guess what? I know that when I get into that mood, I just need to fight even harder to pray and to meditate, to get in my word, to even put on worship music, because I know that's an attack from the enemy. Okay, but it's not easy. But I keep on going through. I didn't. Let me tell you, I didn't find God in the church. I found God right in my home where I'm at right now. And I'm not saying you don't have to go to church. Go, because He wants you to fellowship with others. But God will meet you right where you at. You cry out to Him, He gonna meet you right where you are. Okay? Okay, guys. See you next time on my video.